Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the topic population growth models. Population growth models, okay. There are two models, one is your exponential growth model and the second one is your logistic growth model, okay. So first we are going to discuss what is exponential growth model, okay. So when the population grows on increasing, if you are going to represent it graphically, you get two types of growth models, okay. You can represent it in two ways. So the first way is your exponential growth, okay. So last year we have learned about the population size when it is increasing, isn't it? So we have learned J-shaped curve and S-shaped curve, isn't it? The same thing here. So this exponential growth is a J-shaped curve. What curve we are going to get? You are going to get a J-shaped curve. Okay. So the graph will be like this. It is the dotted lines you can find. This one is what? The exponential growth curve. Okay. So when does this exponential growth take place? When does the population grow in an exponential way? Okay. So listen very carefully. Exponential growth is taking place when there is unlimited resource. What do you mean by unlimited resources? Means the resources are plenty. You have much amount of food, you have much amount of space, you have all the necessary conditions available. Then obviously what will happen is that the reproductive capacity will increase, the reproductive rate will increase. Okay. So then the population will be growing, increasing at a very high rate. That we call it as what? The exponential growth. Okay. So in this exponential growth, the next one, the logistic growth, you just need to learn the equation, and the equation what each and every letters are indicating. Okay, that's what problems usually problems it doesn't come. Okay. Anyhow, now moving on to this exponential growth, when does it taking place? When the resource is unlimited. Unlimited means what? It's available in much amount of food, much amount of space is available. Then you can find what exponential growth is taking place. Okay. And for representing this exponential growth, the equation you can find, we are representing it as dn by dt is equal to b minus d into n. Okay. So dn by dt is equal to b minus d into n. Clear? Now, what is b minus d? B minus d is r. What is b minus d? It is r. So instead of b minus d, if I am writing the letter r, then the equation becomes dn by dt is equal to Rn. Okay, so dn by dt is equal to b minus d is what? R. So dn by dt is equal to r into n is Rn. Okay, and in the logarithmic way when you are seeing, you can represent it as with the help of another equation. The equation is nt is equal to n0 e to the power rt. Okay, now what we need to know is that each and every, what is this n, what is this t, what is b, what is d, what is n, that's what we need to know, isn't it? So here you see that has been represented. Number one, n. What is n? It is population size. Okay, so population size is what we are going to find out. Population size as a given time, dn by dt. Okay, so population size at a given time we are going to find out. So n is representing population size. What is NT? Population density after time t. Okay. So previously how much it was? After 1 year, what is the population? Okay. So that one is represented as what? NT. NT is equal to N0. Means in the beginning how much it was? Now how much it is? I am going to find it out. Okay. In this time how much it is? Previously N0. N0 is what? At time 0. At time 0 means what? In the beginning how much the population was? NT. Now what is the population is? Okay. R is intrinsic rate of natural increase. So every population has the intrinsic capacity, the ability within themselves to increase. Okay. So that is represented as a small letter r. Okay. So what is r? It is intrinsic rate of natural increase. Okay. Population increases naturally. Okay. Then E is what? Base of natural logarithm. It's a constant, the base of natural logarithm, and what is its value? It is 2.71. Okay. And what is B? B is birth rate. Number of birth per thousand individuals. What is D? D is death rate. Clear? So these are the terms. Means you can find these letters are representing these things. And now what is this exponential growth? What does it signify? It signifies that the population density, that is the population, when the time is increasing, if the availability of food resource is much, then the population goes on increasing. It will not come to a standstill, it will not decrease and all. you can find what is happening. In the beginning, population was less. Gradually with the time, the population went on increasing. It's going on increasing. So what shaped curve you will be getting? You will get a J-shaped curve. When does this happen? When the resources are unlimited. Usually that doesn't happen. There comes a competition. There comes a capacity, carrying capacity, where this type of curve is mostly not seen. But in microbes, when the food is available at a very high rate, you can find in microbes to some extent population exponential growth curves are noted. Okay. So in exponential growth curve, what you have to note? The population goes on increasing at a drastic manner with the time. Okay. And you get a curve which is J-shaped curve, and the equation which is denoting as dn by dt is equal to Rn. What is n? Population size. T time. R, intrinsic rate of natural increase, that is B minus D. Okay. And what is n? It is population. Okay. Hope everyone understood this exponential growth curve or J-shaped curve. Okay. Now next what we are going to discuss is that we are going to discuss logistic curve. Clear? Yes, the next population growth model what we are going to discuss is logistic growth. Okay. So logistic, it is the graph what we are going to get is S-shaped. What is the graph we are going to get? S-shaped. Okay. So in logistic growth, what happens is that here the resource becomes limited. That is more realistic in nature. Okay, resource is not always available. So resources are very, very limited. So when the resource becomes limited, then you get a curve, S-shaped curve. Okay. So when does this logistic growth taking place? When the resource is limited. Okay. And it is more realistic. Why this resource is limited? Like for example, you see you are getting admitted to Mount Sinai. Okay. So there are 30 seats. How many benches are there? The benches which can accommodate only 30 students. If the 31st students come, do you think that he will be accommodated there? No. So in the beginning when it is 10, no problem. You can find the 10, okay, more students can come. 11, yeah, 12, 13, 14, 15, 30. When it reaches 30, thereafter whether there is capacity for handling more students there? No, there are no benches there, isn't it? And the highest limit there is what? It is 30. So that would be called as for the carrying capacity. So carrying capacity is what? 30. But after that the population will become stable. So that is in case of Earth also. The population when you are seeing it's going on increasing. When there comes a resource becomes limited, only those who survive the changes, adapt, will survive. Those who cannot will die. And thereafter you can find there is no increase in the population becomes stable. Okay. Or some calamity, something comes and the population comes down. You can find the population remains stable. So in S-shaped curve, what happens? Carrying capacity comes in. Carrying capacity is represented by letter K. Okay. So when this carrying capacity comes, thereafter you cannot find the population is increasing, because the earth can carry this much individuals only. If at all you are increasing, the earth is not ready to accept you. Why? Because that much only the earth can hold, that much pressure only the earth can take. Okay. So then that we call it as for the carrying capacity. So how the graph will be, you see, the time is going on increasing, the population is going on increasing. First because of what is that? All of a sudden a new species is coming, it is taking time to adjust, slowly the population will increase. Thereafter you can find they have adjusted very nicely, reproduction and all will increase and the population will go on very high. Then comes that K, carrying capacity. So what will happen? That much only the earth or that space can occupy, isn't it? So when the carrying capacity comes, thereafter you can find the population becomes stable. So this B is representing logistic growth curve and this A is representing exponential growth curve. A is J-shaped and B is what it is? S-shaped. For B, how the equation is, the other name for this curve is that you give a name sigmoid curve or S-shaped curve, or this growth curve can also be called as Whirlpool's per logistic growth, because this is the people behind discovering the same. Okay, so between putting the same, that's why the name is being given, used for this, representing this curve. Okay, now equation, when you are seeing what is the equation? dn by dt equal to Rn K minus n by K. So here each and everything we have already discussed, only one new thing, K. What is K? It is carrying capacity. What is K? It is carrying capacity. So dN by dt. N is what? Population. Population density at a time T is N. R is what? Intrinsic rate of natural increase. Okay. What is K? K is carrying capacity. So how is this logistic growth curve equation represented? It is represented as dN by dt equal to Rn K minus N by K. So in your examination, you will be asked what are the two different growth models. In that case, you have to answer. Thereafter, what is the equation representing exponential growth curve? What is the equation representing logistic growth curve? What does R stands for? Okay. So like that, you will have things, and this graph will be given. Write the equation for A, write the equation for B. What is K representing? Define K. Like that, some questions will be coming, and you should be in a position to answer. So today we discussed two models. One is the logistic growth curve, and the other one was exponential growth curve. So hope everyone is clear with these concepts. This J shape you get when the resource is unlimited, and S shape you get when the resource is limited. And which is more realistic? The S shaped one. Okay, resource is always limited. You don't have unlimited resources. Okay, so with this, the population growth models are over. Focus.
Next, what we are going to discuss is population attributes. In this, the first is your population density. So population density is equal to number of individuals in an area.
So total number of individuals in a given area is represented as what? This is represented as N, and the area is represented as S. Number of unit area in a region is represented as S. Like for example, if you see, what is the population density of Patripala? Okay, so number of individuals which are residing in Patripala, the whole number of people there, so that I will count. That is what? That is N, divided by the area. How much area, how much square kilometers is Patripala? So that is your area. Okay, so N, number of individuals divided by the means area. We call it as what? We call it as population density, or we give the term population size. Is that okay? Now moving on to the next term, that is birth rate or natality rate. So what do you mean by birth rate? Birth rate, for example, Patripala itself we are taking, we can take example that so that it will be easy. Okay. So birth rate, when you see from number 1 till 1000 individuals, I am counting. Okay. Like I started from one corner of Patripala. From there, each and every house I am going and counting. How many number of individuals? House 1 they said 5, second 4, third 2, fourth 6. Like that I am counting. Till I reach 1000, what I will be doing? I will be counting. Okay. In that 1000 individuals, next year when you are seeing how many newborns are there, so that will be your birth rate. Number of newborns or number of birth divided by 1000 individuals. We call it as what? We call it as birth rate, or we can also give it a natality rate. Okay. The next one is your death rate or mortality rate. So what do you mean death rate? The same 1000 individuals. So from house 1 to 1000 individuals we have calculated, isn't it? So in that 1000 individuals, how many have died? So that will be coming as what? They will be coming as death rate. Understood? So birth rate or natality rate is number of births per 1000 individual, and death rate is what? Number of death per 1000 individuals. Okay. So these two terms you should remember. Birth rate is otherwise referred to as natality rate. Death rate is otherwise referred to as mortality rate. Okay. Next is your sex ratio. What is sex ratio? Listen students. Like I am starting from one corner of Patripala, isn't it? I am only counting the number of males. I am not counting the number of females. Okay. First what I am going to do, I am going to count the number of males. So first house maybe they are saying that 3. Second house 1. Third house 2. Fourth house 4 males. Like that if I going on counting. Till I reach 1000 males, I will be counting. Okay. When I reach 1000 males, men, boys, I will stop. Okay. So out of this 1000 males, maybe from house 1 to house 500 or house 400, it came as what? 1000 males. So this 400 houses. Okay. 1000 males has come. 1000 male has reached. Now in this 1000 males, how many number of females are present? Okay. So in 1000 males, how many females are present? So from first house, I started counting the males. Till 1000 I counted, I stopped. Then in that 1000, in each and every house I am counting how many number of females are present, and then I am totaling it. Okay. So number of females per 1000 males is called as what? Sex ratio. Usually it should be 1:1. In some cases you can find the boys are more and the girls are less. In some places girls are more and boys are less. That is very much rare. Okay. So this is regarding your sex ratio. Next, moving on to your age pyramid. So what is age pyramid? So the individuals in a population can be categorized into different age groups. What do you mean by age groups? You know, like 3 age groups are there. One is your pre-reproductive group, second one is your reproductive group, and other one is your post-reproductive group. What do you mean by pre-reproductive group? Pre-reproductive groups are the children, the infants, kids, those have not reached maturity and they cannot reproduce. Okay, sex organs are not well developed. So those are coming under pre-reproductive group. Okay. Second one is your reproductive group. Means their sexual organs are well developed and they are reached maturity. They have become adolescence period. So that is reproductive group. And post-reproductive means they have become old, have crossed the reproductive age, and now somewhat they are old and it's not that efficient, viable. Okay. So then that one we call it as what? We call it as post-reproductive group. So based on these age groups, when you are seeing, if I am plotting a graph, the graph what I am getting, like in a form of a pyramid I am plotting it. So that representation in the form of a graphical representation in the form of a pyramid, we call it as what? Age pyramid. When age distribution is plotted for a population, the resulting structure what I am getting is called as age pyramid. Based on the types of the population, there are 3 types of age pyramid. Okay. One is your stable, second one is your expanding population, third one is your declining population. So what are the 3? Expanding population, stable population, declining population. So what is the difference between this expanding, stable and declining population? Listen students, in case of your expanding population, you can find that it somewhat we are getting triangular shape. What is the structure we are getting? We are getting the triangular shape. Okay. So this one you see what is expanding population. The pre-reproductive group is more in number. Reproductive group is a bit less than that and the post-reproductive group is much less. Okay. So I am getting a triangular structure like this. So this sort of age pyramid we call it as expanding. It's in developing countries. When you see the kids are more. Okay. And the reproductive groups to some extent less. Because these reproductive groups are giving rise to babies. Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. If the number is more, then obviously pre-reproductive group, what happens? It becomes more. Okay. So that is one. Second, reproductive group, when you are seeing, obviously it is a bit less. Post-reproductive, since of old age, because of health conditions and all, maybe they are, means they have died or it's not, they are not that much healthy. So gradually their number will come down. Okay. So in this case what you are saying is expanding, because this pre-reproductive, these individuals will come to reproductive group. So that many individuals are coming to reproductive group, so they will be also reproducing and giving rise to more. So pre-reproductive group will always be higher compared to the reproductive and post-reproductive group. So in that case the population will go on expanding. Okay. Stable. It is in developed countries wherein you see the pre-reproductive group and the post-reproductive groups are one and the same. Okay. Means they are stable. Like these reproductive groups will reproduce, they will give rise to only 1 child or maximum 2 child, like that. 1 child only usually, 1 they prefer. So because of which when you are saying the reproductive and pre-reproductive group will be somewhat same. Okay. So this guys are only going to come to reproductive stage. Again they will be also be health conscious, they will take preventive measures, they will not be expanding the population, they will keep the population under control. Okay, so this is noted where in the developed countries like London, America and all. Okay, declining population. In this what happens is that urn-shaped structure. So this is bell-shaped, this is triangular and this one is urn-shaped. Urn-shaped means the pre-reproductive group is less compared to that of the reproductive group and post-reproductive group. Now the structure becomes like a urn-shaped structure. What do we call them? We call this one as the urn-shaped structure. Okay. So this urn-shaped structure, when you are seeing this pre-reproductive group is less. Why? Listen students, reproductive groups, this happens when there is a natural disaster or some artificial disaster. Like Japan, all of a sudden, because of that bomb explosion World War, what happened is that radioactive substances and all were present. Reproductive groups to some extent they have adapted. Post-reproductive groups also, when you are seeing, gradually they started declining. And pre-reproductive groups, they were not having that much immunity, because of which they also died. Okay. Now this reproductive groups, when you are seeing, they are also having some health ailments, because of which their reproductive capacity also decreased. And in that case, what happens? The pre-reproductive numbers are very, very less. So if all of a sudden there is a destruction, whether a calamity, maybe natural or maybe artificial, results in what? Decline in the population. Then that sort of population we call it as what? Declining population. In this, what is noted? The pre-reproductive group category will be less compared to the reproductive category. Understood? So these are the examples of three types of population. One, expanding population in the developing countries, stable population in the developed countries, and declining population because of some natural or artificial or man-made calamities. Okay. So these are the thing based on your age pyramid. We can classify the population into three types. Okay. So next we are going to discuss factors that affect population density. Right. So here also we are going to learn some term. See, population density. We have already learned natality, which means birth rate, and mortality, which means death rate. So natality, birth rate we have learned, but mortality, death rate. Natality is represented as B, birth rate, and mortality is represented as D, death rate. Okay. Another one term is there, others immigration and immigration. So what is the difference between immigration and immigration? See, immigration means you are moving into a population. Like someone who was residing in America is going to permanently come and stay over in India. Then we call it as what? Immigration. They have immigrated from some other region into our country. So that one is what that is called as immigration. What is emigration? Someone from here is moving to other country. Like for example, someone who is residing in India is permanently moved to UK after marriage or for studies or to settle down there. They have moved from here to there. Okay. So in that case, they are moving out of a population. Then it is EMI, emigration. Okay. So population, when you are saying, it is dependent upon these main four factors. So what are the four factors? One is the birth rate, because population is population. Now it will increase or decrease. It depends upon four factors. So what are the four factors? One is immigration. So immigration, I told you, someone is moving into a population. So obviously the number will increase. So we can represent it as plus. Okay. The other one is what? Emigration. Someone is moving from our country to some other place. So obviously population will decrease, isn't it? And another one is what? Natality. Someone is means giving birth to someone, isn't it? So obviously the population will increase, isn't it? So natality is plus, okay? And mortality, which someone has died in that particular area. So obviously death. So it will result in decrease in population, isn't it? So it will be minus. So immigration and natality will increase the population density, and this is population density. And mortality and emigration will decrease the population size. Okay, so these are the four terms which you have to remember. Now this population density can also be represented in the form of an equation. If someone is asking me what is the population density at particular time, then for calculating that one I have a formula. So what is the formula? Population density at a given time is equal to population density in the beginning plus birth plus immigration minus death plus emigration. Okay, like for example, I will give an example and explain. Now in 2021, what is the population? Okay, so at this given time, now what is the population? So in 2021, what is the population? That's what I am going to find out. So NT. Okay. Now 2020, what was the population? That, like for example, Patrikala population, if you are seeing, Example only I am saying, these numbers are not correct. Okay. So like in 2020, in the beginning, in the 2020 when census was taken, I am saying maybe taken. So in that case, what was the population? That I know already, isn't it? So like for example, I am saying that it is 2065 people were there. Okay, in Patripala, this many people were there. Okay, so that is the population at the beginning. Plus, okay, in Patripala region, how many birth? Maybe for example, you see 5 people have born in that particular year. Okay, plus 1 person from London has permanently come here into Patripala. So birth plus immigration is over, minus maybe in that area 2 person has died. Okay, in Patripala 2 person has died in that particular year, plus emigration. Emigration means someone has moved from here to other place, from Patripala directly to America, permanently gone. So maybe 1 person has. Okay, so these are all examples. Now 2065 was the population, plus how many are there? So 5 plus 1 is what? You know, that is 6, minus 2 plus 1 is 3, isn't it? So this plus you should not forget. Okay, so what will happen? 2065 plus 6 minus 3 is what? 3, isn't it? So what is the population now? It is 2068. This will be the population at a given time. Is that clear? So like this we can find out population at a particular time. So what is the equation? Population at a particular time is equal to population in the beginning, that is N0, plus B plus I minus D plus E. B is birth rate, I is immigration, D is death rate, and E is emigration. Okay, this can also be written as this formula. Some books and all you can see NT plus 1 means at particular time. Already in the beginning we are representing as NT. Okay, so NT is in the beginning. T plus 1 means after one particular year. Okay, so now plus B plus I minus D plus E. Okay, so like this also, instead of NT plus 1 if you are writing, then this N0 will become what? N0 will become NT. One and the same only. In representation there is a difference. Okay, so this is regarding your population density equation. Hope this part is clear.